State investigators teamed up with the NYPD to catch an alleged sexual predator. The Bronx man is now charged with a new crime in the state of New York, sex trafficking of a child. CBS 2's Corey James talked to neighbors about this startling arrest.
And they couldn't believe the man they say lived in this building right behind me was arrested for allegedly trying to sell an undercover officer a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old for sex for $300. And according to police, that suspect even tried telling the officer he could use alcohol and marijuana to make the victims more comfortable. Luis Gonzalez did not want to say much, but did talk to us about 57-year-old Paul Alexander, a convicted sex offender Gonzalez says he often saw in this Bronx apartment building.
Did you ever see children going in and out of this apartment?
Once in a while. Girls just to be looking for me.
And how often would you say that girls were looking for you?
Once in a while, once in a while they will go up there.
For how long?
Always, the little girls just come back and forth.
Authorities tell us back in March, a girl reported Alexander to the NYPD, claiming he sexually abused her and other girls. She says he also promoted them for prostitution to other men. Detectives launched an investigation with the help of the state attorney general's office organized crime task force and learned Alexander ran this small charter jet company. The AG's office says Alexander was trafficking children across county lines.
To hear that he is now being charged with sex crimes.
I know.
Involving children.
I know.
How does that make you feel?
That's just crazy.
I reached out to Alexander's company and team members listed on his website for comment. 3 people answered my calls, but all declined an on-camera interview. Alexander is facing multiple charges. If convicted, he could face 50 years in prison. And Alexander is still in jail tonight, and he's expected to return to court next Tuesday. He is also the first person to be charged with the newly enacted crime of child sex trafficking, which allows prosecutors to have more ability to hold sex traffickers accountable. In the Mount Hope section of the Bronx, Corey James, CBS 2 News.
What up? What up? How's everybody doing? All right. Let me say what's up to everybody right quick. Say hello. For all of you that were waiting patiently before I came on, I appreciate it. Christola S., Mama Wilkerson, Sammy Page P., Corey H., welcome. I'm glad that you're participating in the chat. I hope you enjoy it. Mikasa Ackerman, St. Elmo's Fire. Wow. Perfectly Imperfect. Sandra Martinez. Lyrics. Hello. Did I already say Perfectly Imperfect? I did already say Perfectly Imperfect. Evelyn Arnaud. Irish's Wife. I think I already said that too. I don't know. Maybe I say it so much, but I hadn't said this yet. Motherfucking Princess, welcome. My favorite YouTube handle to say when I greet everyone. Declan Thurman, Nikki Evans, Peace, Love, Smiles. So good to see everybody again, man. Rosaleng. Gelf, what's up, dude? Cherry K, hey. Katie 2. Roseanne D. Cynthia, Liz Vigor. That's just how I'm going to say it. All right, we're all caught up. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Let me get a little sip of my coffee here. So, Siren Jag, hello. So I have not seen the oak leaf bottle in here modding my channel in a minute, dude. I haven't even seen Oakleaf making appearances in other people's chats. So whoever Oakleaf was, I hope to continue seeing you. But here, I am going to go ahead and officially announce And it's been a while, honestly. It's been, I don't know, at least a week. But even that was the first time in probably a week. But I'm going to go back to what I was doing when I first got here. I'm going to explain. Now, when you drink a lot, right? What happens is even though you're sober the next day, you still feel a kind of a cloud of it the next day, the next couple of days. At least I do. And what's fun is feeling oak leafed out and having a good time on here. But those next couple of days, I just feel like total shit. And then I chill out for a while and I get back into it. But right now, and I'm not saying I quit drinking or anything like that. I'm saying right now, I'm definitely giving Oak Leaf a rest. Now, virtual Oak Leaf is still welcome to mod my chat. I love the way that Oak Leaf did it. But I don't, let's just say that right now I have, there are certain opportunities that have maybe presented themselves. And if those opportunities become in my hands to do what I can with them, I want to be 100%. Does that make sense? I want to be able to go, you know? So, yeah. I mean, it was fine before, you know, it was just like, we're just hanging out, whatever. And my everyday life is just the way my everyday life is. And it's okay. It's easy to manage. It's fine. But other opportunities may have presented themselves recently. And I want to take full advantage of that if I can. And I want to do the best I can with it. And no, Siren Jagged is not porn, but I'll tell you what, if it was, I would be doing the same thing right now. I'd be like, I'm doing this 100%. But so that's just my attitude. I'm not, you know, anybody who's drinking, you know, even if Robbie decided to have a drink, I wouldn't judge him. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like, oh my God, I got to get my life together. Nah, it ain't nothing like that. It's just, I know myself and I don't want to take these opportunities for granted if they are presented to me. So yeah. And I'm also, this is actually really difficult because I want one right now, but I've also decided to really cut down on smoking. So the new rule I'm setting for myself, oh God, help me if I break it. I'll feel really, really bad and stupid and hypocritical, but I don't want to smoke while I'm on a live stream. So I'm gonna eventually quit smoking because my whole thing, man, dude, I'm in 5 years, I'm gonna be a half a century old. That's insane. That's an insane thought to have to me. And so, you know, it's really, really, really illogical, which completely and totally contradicts the L in Glare, to be a smoker, to be a cigarette smoker. It is really, really dumb, considering, I mean, especially it's counterproductive to the lifestyle I try to live. Does that make sense? I mean, I go to the gym, I work at a gym, you know, I work out every day, most of the time, twice a day. So, and then I'm the only asshole that will go around the corner after a good workout and smoke a cigarette. You know, first thing I think of is, man, after that, I need a cigarette. It's fucking crazy. It's totally ridiculous. It's the stupidest shit ever. So I'm trying to be that guy that just stops doing stupid shit and making stupid decisions. I've gotten a lot better, but this is, come on, this is something, all right, it's time to realize what it is and put it to bed. You know, it's time to grow out of it. If my mom can quit smoking, you know, that's my mom smoked almost most of my life, you know, and she hasn't touched a cigarette in years. So right. I got to apply Glare principles to it. I've never tried to. I just didn't have the guts to do it. I always just felt like, nah, man, I'm not ready to quit smoking cigarettes. I'm just not fucking ready. But now it's getting to a point to where it's like, listen, you don't have the luxury of being ready or, you know, anymore. It's going to get to a point where you don't have the luxury of being ready for it. You got to quit. You just got to. It's fucking you up. So yeah, so that's where I'm at, and I really want one right now, because that's the thing. Is I noticed one of the reasons why I said during live streams is because I actually smoke the most when I'm doing live streams. I don't smoke that much off of here. On here I look like a chain smoker, but the rest of the time I think it's because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to give you guys this level of honesty that I haven't shared in a while, but it still applies. Dude, this is the most nerve-wracking shit that I do. I still get super, super duper duper nervous doing this. I get total anxiety. I really do. It's scary as hell. So, you know, like imagine how I feel if I'm on panel with, you know, other creators. I'm just like, fuck. You know, I'm not even trying to lie about it. I think Truthy is the person that I felt the most comfortable live with, because we have a very, very natural exchange of conversation. But you know, it's still, man, it's to come up here, like there's still a part of me that just goes, you know, dude, Will, who the fuck do you think you are? What the fuck makes you think that anybody gives a shit what comes out of your face, dude? Check yourself. What the fuck is wrong with you, right? I mean, that happens all the time. And then I just choose not to listen to it, you know? But now I've found a stronger purpose for why I want to do this. And we're going to talk about that tonight. I notice, you know, I've got a lot of people in here than prior to you know, on average, but the last couple of times I've had a lot more people in here. But you know, that's a good thing, because that tells me I've you know, tonight's not going to be about Kay in the slightest bit. But I have had a few lives pretty much dedicated to talking about her, and she's live right now, as a matter of fact. But this live, this is one that I only want people in here that are interested with what I'm trying to do moving forward with my channel. That's all. This is about, this is actually a celebration. This is going to be a positive live. It's negative as to the subject matter of what we're talking about and what I'm going to be going over, but good came out of this thing. This is a step forward in our direction of what we're trying to do and bringing awareness. And I'm going to go all into that tonight. But man, it's really hard not to smoke a cigarette right now, I promise you. So there's this dude. His name is Paul Alexander. Now, is he quite Jeffrey Epstein? No, but see, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't actually charged with trafficking girls. This guy was, and he's the CEO of a private charter company, an air charter company. So he has the means to literally traffic girls. And tonight we're going to go over the difference between trafficking and prostitution. This guy's guilty of soliciting both. And he's guilty of definitely, yeah. This guy is a piece of work. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link here. I'm going to read a little bit that now my right hand mod, man, my right hand mod. I think we all know who that is. She put together some facts for me. The last time she did that, she did a very good job, and I really appreciate it. But I just hold on. There we go. So I'm going to drop a link. Now, here's the thing. The New York Post, I think, had the best coverage of this. Now, whether they're liberal or conservative paper, I don't want to hear that shit. You know, I don't care. That it doesn't matter. If they are making stuff like this public and trying to make us aware, then and trying to create awareness, I don't care if they're doing it for ratings or not. I don't care if they're doing it for to sell papers or sell clicks. I don't care. Whatever. If you're a big newspaper like that and you're trying to bring awareness to this situation, then man, please, you know, I don't give a shit if you're conservative, liberal. I don't care about any of that right now. All I care about is that this issue becomes something that we all start to feel more comfortable creating a dialogue about and making people more aware. Because I don't know about anybody else. Because if hearing about situations like this don't piss you off, and then the result, the person getting caught, doesn't make you thrilled, then I can't relate to you. I just can't relate to you if that's the case. So, so we got this guy, Paul Alexander. Now, this guy, now I want to be clear. This was posted in my group. Now, I don't know what her YouTube name is, but I don't want to share her real name. But she posted this New York Post article in my group, actually. And that's how I became aware of it. And so it says here that Attorney General Letitia James announced on the 5th of December the arrest of Paul Alexander, age 57, of the Bronx, a level 3 sex offender for sex trafficking children throughout New York City. Alexander's arrest is the result of a joint investigation between the Attorney General's Organized Crime Task Force and the New York City Police Department. Vice Major Case Squad Human Trafficking Team. Okay, so that's a mouthful right there. So we're gonna get into that a little bit too, because now there's a new thing out there where different law enforcement agencies can work together in order to take on human sex trafficking. And specifically child sex trafficking, this is the case of that. Now, this guy, it's almost like he wasn't even trying to hide it. I don't see how somebody like this could be so sloppy. He's a CEO. And we're going to get into some weird shit here about this guy. But so to continue on the investigation, the initial investigation began in March after a female minor reported Alexander to the NYPD, alleging that Alexander sexually abused her and other underage girls and promoted them for prostitution to other men. The investigation was named Operation Mile High. And I want to be clear. I apologize. I should have said this earlier, but if I'm saying things that are sensitive to you, I apologize. But these are things that we need to discuss. But fair warning, moving forward, we're going to get into some sensitive stuff here. So just, you know, it's an ugly thing to talk about, but if we don't start choosing to get mad about it instead of ignoring it because it makes us uncomfortable, then these predators, they win. So the investigation was named Operation Mile High after investigators revealed Alexander was listed as the CEO of Central Jet Charter, a private aircraft charter company. This marks the first time Attorney General James has charged a defendant with the newly enacted crime of sex trafficking a child, which strengthens prosecutors' ability to hold sex traffickers accountable. So far, this Attorney General, Letitia James, she's on my happy side. That is for sure. She's taking action. She's in a very high position, and she has the ability to make this problem, to actually fight this problem. She's and this is what we want, people. This is what we want, and it seems to not matter how high up it goes. With this act of arresting this guy, it's making a statement. It's definitely making a statement as far as I'm concerned. And it's making a statement saying that we're coming, so don't even try to hide. The light is now being shined onto the darkness by acts like this happening, and for news sources such as the New York Post to cover it, because it needs more coverage. And the thing is the reason why I'm doing this, and I'm hoping that part of the reason why some of my fellow creators that are taking on this issue or similar issues are it's to get mainstream media to shine a light on these situations. And I think Josh has an excellent plan on doing so, as far as the stuff that he's been talking about, which is family vloggers. I think he's got a solid idea on how to do that. And it's definitely to hit them in their wallets. We need to demand from these sponsors. We need to demand from these high corporations and these sponsors that what they're sponsoring. We need to let them know. And the reason why and the way to let them know how important it is if it comes from a mass amount of people. The more people that we get together that make these corporations accountable for sponsoring what is basically feeding a perverted monster, then that's what it's going to take. And we have to do that. We all have to, but that has to happen in numbers. But cases like this of this Alexander guy, that also needs to be talked about. There needs to be a demand for this kind of news in the public. Media outlets are supply and demand. That's just how it works. They provide what is going to sell. So he allegedly charged an undercover agent $300 for sex with two young victims, ages 14 and 12, with each girl earning a third of the take, according to a criminal complaint. So, yeah, that's too disgusting for me to have to repeat. But I think you get the idea here. So this guy was running a racket. And there's a neighbor named Dan Santiago, 26, told the Post he would see groups of young girls and men coming in and out of Alexander's apartment in their building in Fordham Heights. Santiago says, I would always see him with little girls up there. It was never one person coming out of the apartment. It was always like a group. I found that suspicious. He was doing something up there for sure. Another neighbor who lives below Alexander said the apartment was also noisy and that she even warned him to stay away from her daughters. He has never messed with me or my daughters. He would make so much noise. I took a bat and went upstairs and told him, come here. If you ever touch one of my daughters, I will kill you right here in this building, the woman said in Spanish. So this lady is just a badass. This guy wasn't even trying to hide what he was doing. It blows my mind. He was a CEO of a company, even a small company, even a small business. That's, that would require enough common sense to at least hide what you're trying to do. And here he is living in an apartment building, and there are neighbors that see him going in and out of his apartment with children dressed all scantily clad, and men coming in and out on a constant basis. So I can't imagine. And here's this guy saying, and here's the thing. Some of you are probably saying, well, why isn't this dude calling the cops? First of all, we don't know if he ever did call the cops or not, but let's assume that he didn't. At the same time, you see something like that, it's so bad that your mind, I believe, my theory is your mind just doesn't want to go there. You think it's such a horrendous thing to have to accuse somebody of, because that's the thing. Think about it, people. This is another thing that makes the situation so difficult, because you have to have a complaint or proof that this is happening before you accuse somebody of it. But there's no proof, right? Like, according to this guy, he's just saying it looks suspicious to me, but that's not enough to call the cops necessarily, because then word gets around. Let's say this guy's innocent, word gets around, and he's actually doing something good for the community, right? Imagine that. His reputation's still ruined, whether he gets arrested or not. But the thing is that's without a complaint. I still stand by the fact that if a victim speaks out and accuses, well, chances are there's an issue there. Now, it sucks that if the guy turns out to be innocent, it sucks. But, the problem is it's too big of a risk to not believe a child. It's just too big of a risk. I say you just got to believe the child, plain and simple. And I stand by that. I've always said that, and I'm going to continue to stand by that. Now, so I'm going to repeat that because I actually love that shit. So this other neighbor, this woman, she says to him in Spanish, or she says, he has never messed with me or my daughters. He would make so much noise that I took a bat and went upstairs and told him, and then in Spanish said, come here, if you ever touch one of my daughters, I will kill you right here in this building. So her coming upstairs, what does that indicate to you guys? What kind of noises do you think that she's hearing? Because I'm getting the indication that she's hearing noises that indicate that there's something extremely inappropriate going on with minors. That's as much in detail as I'll go as far as what I think is happening here. And to the point to where this woman actually had to go, because she was hearing it from her apartment, had to go up there with a baseball bat just to tell him, listen, motherfucker, I know what you're up to. If you ever come near one of my daughters, you're getting your skull crushed, and so apparently his response to her was, oh no, it wasn't like that. So here he is. She basically accused him, and he's denying it. The woman who didn't want to be named was relieved Alexander was behind bars and hoped he wouldn't harm any more young girls. They need to take him away from here. We don't want people like that here, the woman said. Children live here, and I have to take care of my daughters. Absolutely. That's exactly how a parent should look at a situation like that. 100%. I completely agree with that. And she says he stays by the McDonald's on Fordham Road. That's where he finds them. So she's actually seen him. She's been watching this guy. She's that, I grew up in South Florida, people. And she's that Hispanic lady that's there with the, standing at the screen door looking at everything, just watching everything. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's a very, very Hialeah thing to do. I imagine it's probably Bronx to do as well. So she's basically saying here that she's witnessed him target girls at McDonald's, and then I guess, you know, talk them into grooming them, and then so she says that's where he finds them, at the McDonald's. That's where he would pick up those kids. Oh, actually, that's just a different neighbor saying that. They live on the first floor. There is a high school around there, they say. He would go there and be waiting on them. So he'd also, you know, cruise the high school for them. This guy's 57. Dude, like, how does he not stick out like a sore thumb? This is people just seeing something that they don't want to see, and then they choose that they don't see it. I mean, let's face it. Let's be honest. So neighbors recalled seeing the girls wearing skimpy clothes and claimed they looked younger than 18. They had on little sports bras, little shorts. Recalled other female neighbor, "I'm so glad he's gone. He has like a creepy vibe, like he's a villain." So Paul Alexander, let's get into a little history on Paul Alexander, all right? So Paul Alexander was added to the state sex offender registry after he was arrested in 2003 on charges of kidnapping and having deviant sexual intercourse with a 17-year-old girl in Yonkers. He was ultimately convicted of possessing child porn in the case. Public records show that he also did stints in prison for sex abuse in 1992 and for bribery in 2008, court records show. Investigators currently have no evidence that the jet company boss used his planes to traffic victims outside the city, the Attorney General's office said. So they don't have any evidence on that yet. I mean, it's probably safe to assume it. I mean, maybe he, you know, I don't know. But they got the guy off the street. Now, this is what bugs me, okay? This is what bugs me, and I'm wondering if this is bugging anybody else, because I'm not looking at the chat right now, but it says here that he did stints, plural, in prison for sex abuse in 1992, and for bribery in 2008. So if he's already been to prison, and is already on the sex registry, how the fuck did he become a CEO of a company? That's bugging the hell out of me. Is anybody else with me on this? Does anybody have an explanation? I'm going to look at chat a little bit while we ponder that. So yeah, 1992, he did prison time. In 2003, he was put on the sex offender registry. So does anybody feel like that is odd that here we are in 2020 that he's a CEO of a flight charter company? I mean, that bugs the hell out of me, man. I mean, who doesn't do a background check on somebody who you're going to promote to be a CEO? That's the owner of the company, CEO. Am I wrong about that? Started his own business. I mean, wouldn't it say founder and CEO? Wouldn't that be his title? I'm assuming CEO because That's all it says about him, that he's a CEO. Wouldn't he be founder and CEO? Wouldn't that be his official title? Right. I mean, that also makes sense. Peace, love, smiles. You're right about that. If he owned the company, I'm not surprised one bit that that's probably what he got it for. But here's the thing is, they still haven't even found any evidence that he was using the company to traffic any kids. He still hasn't done that. They still haven't done that. They're saying that they busted him from his apartment. My man would go not even far from his house, apparently. According to his neighbors, at least what the witnesses are saying, the neighbors, now again, that's hearsay. We don't know, but what we hear about this so far is that he was going to the McDonald's right there and cruising and going to the high school right there. I don't know, man. I don't know. So now it's real important, guys. It's real important that we focus also on the things to look out for. If you see sex trafficking, now not just one of these things, but a bunch of them, because some of these things, like if you just see one of these things down this list, it doesn't necessarily make anyone a sex trafficker, you know. So I'm going to go down this list here. Actually, I'm going to share the screen so you can see it for yourself. Excuse me. All right, so I don't know how clearly you can see that. I don't think I can blow it up, but so the following red flags are warning signs that a youth might be trafficked or sexually exploited. One is they leave home frequently and or for significant periods of time. They show signs of mental, physical, or sexual abuse, has a significantly older partner, or spends a lot of time with a controlling person or older adult. Indications or reports of domestic violence, intimate partner violence, lies about their age, or carries a fake form of identification. Housing is provided by employer. Significantly reduces contact with family, friends, and or other support networks. Displays a pattern of staying in the homes of friends or a non-legally responsible adult. Reluctant to discuss how they make money, where they live, how or when they came to the U.S. So also, yeah, you want to look out for illegals, or you know, and that's not to say that I want to be clear. I'm definitely in no way, shape, or form implying that if you see an illegal, assume they're being trafficked. You know, no, of course not. What I'm saying is that's also, think about it. It's a sign. It could be a sign with when you mix all these other things with it. It's more likely to be someone who is an illegal alien because they're a product of trafficking from another country to here, because apparently there's a demand for it here. So we have to be very careful about that. And these are people who are not easy to track. Where are they going to go? Who are they going to run away to? You know, it's a perfect great way to keep victims of trafficking quiet is to ship them off to another country where they know no one, and they're not going to know where to go if they run away. Where are they going to run away to? To who? Now, I'm sure if you're desperate enough, you will. I'm not saying that, but it's definitely going to narrow that chance of them being able to run away, or even feeling confident enough to run away. Also lacks control over schedule or money. If they don't have control of their own money, they have large amounts of money or costly items, like expensive things that he or she cannot reasonably afford. So yeah, of course, that's a red flag. You see a 14-year-old wearing Prada, and it's it's and they don't seem to have a foundation of home necessarily. That's a red flag. Involvement in systems such as social services, pins, courts, etc. Works more than he or she is in school, or does not often attend school. So that too, kids who aren't in school and they've got expensive things, and they're being made out to be wealthier than they should be. And on top of it, they don't know any English. Now all of these things put together, it's not necessarily all you look for. I'm saying a couple of these things here and a couple of these things there, and then it should be enough, just enough to raise your eyebrows. But obviously, if you see something like this, don't engage. Just make sure that it's enough to warrant suspicion, and then you contact somebody, a local authority figure, to look into it. Don't put yourself in danger, and by no means do you want to put that child in any danger. So leave that stuff up to the trained professionals, of course. And then finally, they may experience suicidal ideations and or depression. So obviously, there's a lot of depressed people out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of suicidal people out there, and that does not mean that they are being trafficked necessarily. Just use your common sense as best as you can, but we need to become more aware, and we need to realize that this is a bigger problem than we ever realized that it truly was. So I'm curious as to how long this Paul Alexander is going to end up in prison. How much time is he going to do if convicted? I'm also wondering if he's going to stay alive during his time in jail. Because a part of me hopes that he is part of something bigger, and that he can lead those people to something that will help and take down perpetrators that are taking away children's innocence on a mass level. So if that can happen, then I'm going to be very grateful. If it doesn't, then I'll be very grateful if he just rots in prison. But I do want him to see justice, and I do hope that he is part of something and he can name names, because I think we're all in agreement that these are not lone operators. Generally, these people work in a network. They like to look out for each other. They like to share. They like to share photographs. They like to share information. They like to share partners, even. And I use that term very, very, very loosely. In fact, I retract it. They like to share victims. So yes, I apologize for that. But yes, they like to share victims. They like to share, and this helps them ensure their impunity. This helps them ensure their anonymity from the powers that be, and from us, from people like us. So yeah. You guys are over here talking about Oakleaf in the chat. I don't even miss it right now, man. Like, I'm still like super good. Yeah, I don't even miss it right now. But yeah, and to finish what I was talking about earlier, we're gonna get back into Mr. Paul Alexander as well. We're gonna get back into that, but you know, I noticed that, you know, I'm happy that there's only this amount of people here, because these are the people, you guys in the chat are the people that are taking this issue seriously. That's what that tells me, that you are taking this issue serious, and you're taking it seriously. So I'm really grateful for you guys to be here, because that's what I want. Now, do I wish it was as many as when I'm here trashing and talking about Kay? Sure, of course I do, because that's more awareness for this issue. Hey, there's Oakleaf. And there's X Varna. What's up? So yeah, so that's what that tells me. And it's a little sad, you know, that exposing another creator who I feel is detrimental to this issue is really what people, the majority of people focus on, which I think it kind of sucks. But I am glad that you guys are here. Speaking of which, I don't know how many of you guys caught it, but I did a live stream on EBJJ Comic Nuts channel with Dad Challenge podcast, with Truthy Magoo, and with Illuminati. And we had a great time. And the idea is to continue doing it, do it once a month, at least. So we're hoping that that's going to be the thing. And it's pretty much mostly, I think it's going to focus around this particular issue. When we did it the other night, Josh from Dad Challenge podcast went over a lot of facts about family vloggers, and what he went over the analytics of a lot of these videos, and the analytics indicate that the majority of these of the audiences of these family vlogger channels are men, and they are and a lot of them can be looked to, some of their channels can be traced back to having playlists of very, very questionable material involving children. So this is a very, very ugly thing. And it's a bigger problem. And that's the thing, is these types of people need to be exposed, and they need to be brought out into the open in order to protect our children. I feel that's very, very important. And anybody opposed to that are probably not very good people, and they should be discredited as it is. Yeah. I had gotten in late because I was stuck working. And then I came home as fast as I could, and I got all my gear together and came on to their stream, and I was listening before I was able to come on there, and I'm listening to Josh explain this and break it down with visual aid, and I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. And I also want to say I had like listening to Comic Nut explain what he does. I'm hoping my mods can actually, let me do that because it's kind of confusing to look for. But I'm gonna drop his. Here we go. I'm gonna drop his link in chat here, guys. So go ahead, click the link that I'm dropping, please, guys. Go ahead and do yourselves a favor and click on this link if you're not subscribed to this guy already. He's a really, really, really good dude. He's really nice, but he's also a badass. And what he was explaining to us, what he does for a living, will blow your mind. This guy is literally on the front lines. And I mean, boots on the ground fighting trafficking. He lives in Honduras, and he actually saves kids physically with really badass soldier types. It's pretty incredible to listen to him explain it. And it was a pleasure to have a conversation with a guy like that, and to be a guest on his channel. It was incredible. Yeah, Craft Happy Tammy, I cannot disagree with you. I am super impressed with him. Super impressed with him. And Oakleaf has dropped the link there too. I already did drop it. Yeah, he is an absolute badass. Like, I was blown away. And as far as I know, I don't know, I exchanged emails with him, but I think tomorrow night I might be doing something with BX Beast Boy. I'm hoping to. We exchanged email. We exchanged through email a couple days ago. So yeah. But yeah, we're hoping to do this collaboration on a regular basis. So I'm really, really excited about it. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the panel up and see if anybody wants to call in. All right. Don't worry, that wasn't a cigarette. I have not gone back on my word yet. So nobody wants to. Oh, Rosaling.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
I am well. Listen, I am still going back over some of your earlier feeds, your earlier videos, and I just dropped a message today about getting back to what you started, and here you are. What am I waiting for? Can you not hear me?
You're gonna have to repeat all that one more time because my jack came out of my earphone.
That's all
So
right.
you
At
were
least
going.
I'm not lagging so bad.
So you were going over my earlier videos and what? And you left a comment or?
And I left a comment about how I wish you'd get back to that particular subject and fighting for people's rights who don't have any voice, and you're being their voice. And I just wanted to say that here we are, and you're doing this live. And I caught you on Mr. Nuts, that stream you did the other day.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what his name is. Comic Man.
I have a hard time. I don't know what to call him.
Right.
I mean, his name is it's just a mouthful. It's EBJJ Comic Nut.
Comic Nut. Yes.
Yeah.
And he was wonderful. And knowing that he's there on the ground, boots on the ground, and the stories he told, they were amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just wanted to say I'm proud of you for making some decisions about oak leaf and smoking and that. I know it's
that doesn't really have anything to do with anything other than stuff that I'm just kind of keeping to myself. But
no,
which if those opportunities present themselves, I'll let everybody know and everything.
No, I'm just saying I'm proud of you, dude. It's okay. It's okay. And keep on keeping on. I'm gonna jump back in the chat and mod with all the other crazy people.
All right.
Love you, man.
All right, thank you. Excuse me. Craft Happy Tammy. How are you?
Hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I would just want to say how proud I am of what the video live that you guys all did the other night.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a mod for Mr. Nut.
Oh, right on.
I'm just, I can't express how proud I am of Josh and all you guys for everything you guys are doing. You're my superheroes. Literally, with the Sophie case and everything. I mean, I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate everything you're doing. And I just want to put that out there because I know there's so much sadness that you're seeing and so much trauma and bad things that you're seeing. But I want you to know that, like I said, slavery was a thing in the past. We conquered that. We beat that. We got it abolished. We can do this again. And
yeah, so I mean, right. That's a great way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. You know, these are kids.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're all kids, you know, and I mean not all kids, but they're kids and they're women.
Right.
You know, this needs to be abolished. This needs to be stopped. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, it's, and I do want to say too, I'm supportive of you for your smoking and the Oakley. Congrats.
Hey, this is fresh. This is fresh. I decided this today.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Of trying to quit smoking, or at least no more smoking on a live stream. Right? So that's but
right.
Oh,
You got
man,
two people in your chat
because I really want one right now because I never want one more than when I'm live. But it's also a good way to keep my lives pretty short and sweet. So
there you go. But you know what? You have two people on your chat now that's aboard that's going to work with you too.
Yeah,
so
right on.
See what you did?
See, that's cool, man.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So there you go.
Yeah. No, I appreciate I appreciate appreciate all the new subscribers and all the support. And yeah, I'm really excited about doing future things with Comic Nut and the other guys too. So, you know, I've done live streams with Josh before. I've done them with Truthy, many with Truthy. Done a lot of them with Truthy. And I just did one with Illuminati once, but that was the first time with Comic Nut, and that was really a pleasure because I'm actually sub to his channel. It's just that I look at the icon because his name is so long. You know, and right. So I you know, he was in my chat and I didn't even know it. And I was like, dude, wait a minute. I'm subscribed to that guy. Like because I go back and I watch my lives because I barely look at the chat when I'm live, you know.
I know
because I have the bad ADHD, right? So
that's good. That's okay.
So I go back and I look at him. So I can watch the chat, and And I go back and I watch some of that other one, and I'm like, dude, I'm sub to that guy. Fuck, why didn't I bring him on panel? You know?
Well, I was trying to get your attention because I've been trying to get you two behind the scenes. I mean, I was showing him you behind the scenes, and I was trying to get your attention behind the scenes too. But I don't, like you said, you don't always see the chat. So
Right.
I'm just so happy. I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy you guys are all working together, and I'm so proud of you guys. I mean, like I said, we can do this. It's baby steps. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's a start.
Right.
And that's what it takes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I'm a small channel, you know. I'm happy to be that, but I'm a small channel. So 6 of us getting together is gonna help us, you know, since we're on the same page and we're looking at this the same way. It's a great way to look at things. It's a great way to approach this. It's a great way to fight it.
Yes, I agree.
So you know, and it's
like
not just this issue. I think we're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah.
But we're just a lot of people on the same page of trying to do the right thing, and we're not going to take no for an answer.
Yes.
And we're not going to apologize for it.
No.
Right.
No reason to.
Right.
No reason to.
Let me bring all the pretty bling things on. I'll keep you on for a minute. Oh, it says device is not connected, so I don't know what's going on there. Try coming out, try leaving and coming back in all the pretty bling things, because I've noticed her in my chat as well.
And I really appreciate all your mods too. You got some pretty great mods.
I'm
nice
quite
nice to be part of a chat that's, yeah, it's great to be part of a chat that's got great mods.
This is easily the best mod team I've ever had. I've gone through, this would be my third, I believe, third phase in mod teams, but not everybody. That girl has been a mod for a long time.
Yeah, she's the best. I agree.
But she's yeah, I consider her to be my right hand, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's very this channel would not be what it is right now at all without her.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad to see you and Annie teaming up. And I mean, this is just, I'm so excited. There's so much outcome to come with all this. I can't express it. I'm just so excited at what this can all bring. I'm so happy.
Yeah. I mean, you know, hopefully we can start making some waves, you know.
Yes.
And the idea is to, I mean, it's not just on us to do this, you know.
Right.
I mean, you guys can share these videos on your social media.
We are. I am, but yeah, exactly.
You know, spread the word. That's how this happens. You know,
yep.
spread the videos Josh makes on social media. Spread these.
Yep.
You know, I'm not even monetized right now, so you know, it's not about that for me. I wouldn't be doing this for if it was for money, because I'm not making any money from it.
I know.
You know, I get the occasional PayPal donation, which is very nice, but it's not you know, something that you know, matches up to what we're putting in here and how I feel about this, if that makes any sense. It's just,
it does. Yeah.
It's not it's not that kind of income, you know.
Right.
It's just like, that's nice when it happens.
Yeah.
It's great, you know. But you know, this is getting everybody together and getting everybody excited about something. That's what I'm in it for.
Exactly.
So
well, I'm going to make it real quick, but I adopted 2 boys with autism.
Hey, thank you for doing that. I love that Josh also has adopted kids too. So God bless anybody out there who are adopting kids, man. There's so many kids out there that need homes.
They're biological brothers. My 6-year-old was SA'd by his uncle. So this really means a lot to me, what you guys are doing, because I wake up every night with him with nightmares still to this day. And he tries to express himself the best he can with autism.
God, that is, oh,
Yeah,
I mean, to take advantage of a child is
he was
disgusting.
2. He was 2 when it
It's
happened.
indescribably disgusting. But to take advantage of a special
Special needs.
needs child,
Yeah,
you are lower than that, if that's
yeah,
even possible.
I know.
How?
And that's why you guys mean the world to me. I mean, I can't express enough how much what you guys are doing means to me. Like I said, he was only 2 when that happened. So, and his doctor, his pediatrician has, well, he sees many, but he's diagnosed with PTSD. So he, even though he's not fully aware of things that are going on in life, he's fully aware of what's happened to his body. It's quite obvious when he has doctor's appointments and that. So, like I said, you guys have my full respect, and
You have mine. You have mine equally, if not more, because you are also on the front lines in your own way, making a difference. You are taking these children in, and you're caring for them and giving them the love that they were robbed of them. That was robbed of them.
thank you.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's an important thing. And I mean, you have all my respect in the world for that. Anybody who adopts kids or fosters kids and takes good care of them just for the sake of loving them and giving them a chance to be happy, you have all of my respect.
Thank you. Like, I had 3 biological children that I'm sorry, my light, I'm trying to block it. Well, 4. My son died at birth, but
Jeez, I'm sorry.
thank you. We raised our girls, and we felt we needed to do a little bit more and step up for them too. So, to be honest, it's my middle daughter's children. She was in a bad relationship with her ex. He's in prison. Well, he got out of prison, but he was in prison. It's a long story. I'm just kind of summing it up, little bitty details. But they're family members that we adopted. So no regrets. I mean, everyone's like, you raised your kids. You could have been moving on, doing your thing. You could have let someone else or a family member. I'm like, no, they're my kids too. And I love them as much as I did my other children. And I encourage more people, if you can, adopt. If you're able to, it's a blessing. It really is. I mean, I know they're my own flesh and blood too, but it's a beautiful thing, and especially ones that are biological family. To keeping them together, older children.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's important
big
too.
advocate for that.
Keeping siblings
Yeah,
together is a hell of a thing, and it's
especially
important.
teenagers and older ones.
It's extremely important. I can't imagine. Me and my brother are like opposites, but I cannot imagine my life without him.
Yeah,
He's been. I mean, we're opposites, but he's also taught me so many of the most important things that I know, just by being a couple years older than me and having more common sense. You know, uh, but I don't know where I'd be or what I'd. I'd definitely be in worse shape if my brother wasn't in my life. Absolutely.
well,
I'm
I'm
gonna.
proud of you. I'm
Well,
proud of you,
thanks.
and keep doing what you're doing. Oh, sorry, keep doing what you're doing, and I'll be in your chat. I'll be in all your chats, and I'm supporting y'all. Very happy.
Appreciate it, Tammy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Good night. What's up, all the pretty bling things?
Hello. So I think it's great what you guys are doing. I think it's crazy how much these people make off their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Um,
and I wasn't even really aware of the problem. Like I mod Josh's chat, you know, but he does them almost always during work hours for me while I'm working, and it's hard for me to have my phone out because you're not supposed to, you know, to be able to actually mod the chat. But when I do, so I hear a lot of the stories that he's telling. Today he had a really, really good one. It was a premiere, but he had an interview with this guy.
yeah, I
And
watched that.
right. And it was really, really, it was crazy because the chat was judging the hell out of this guy, some people in the chat. And that's the thing, man, is, you know, this is a sensitive thing because, you know, two parents, you know, the chances of them being picture perfect in a situation like this is just not, you know, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? And the thing is people were overlooking. There were people saying this guy's a piece of garbage. This guy's a piece of garbage. But here's this guy sitting there explaining why people might look at him as a piece of garbage. And he took complete and total accountability for something that was pretty ugly, you know, where you're just like, oh man. But he took complete accountability and was completely aware of it. And he served his time for it, most importantly. And serving your time for this means to me that you paid the price. You made a mistake and you paid the price. And so that's as far as I'm willing to even begin to pass judgment on somebody. So basically, I'm not judging the guy at all. But there was a lot of people that were like, look at him, blah, blah, blah. You know, he had a, you know, weird Mohawk type haircut. You know, but he had a lot of good things going for him. He was about to get married again, supposedly. And he's just trying to protect his child. You know, and he was making a lot of sense as to why he was trying to protect his child. He didn't come off like a piece of garbage at all. You know, people were basically just looking at him by his, judging him by his looks and by the fact that he did something pretty gross and took accountability for it and paid the price.
Right.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, you paid your debt to society. You deserve a second chance to function amongst the rest of us. You know, you do something that merits life in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think being over 18 or however old he was with a teenager, yes, that's gross. It's unethical. But it's not a life sentence. You know, it's poor judgment. Because you're a horny kid still, you know what I mean? It's not that he is a predator. Now, if he focuses on these women on a predatory way, that's a different story, you know, right. Obviously. But this is, he fell in love, you know. He had feelings for this person, wanted to remain monogamous with this person. So it, you know, it's a little bit different of a situation. It's not a predatory situation, and he still paid the price for it. So that's how I look at it anyway.
Like, I have two older stepdaughters, and so like I sell jewelry and they are a part of it, but they rarely ever come online with me, like rarely. And when they do, it's not like I talk about things that shouldn't be talked about, right, with little girls.
Right.
Like, that's just crazy to me when I seen that video about going bra shopping and
yeah, and who else is that entertaining, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got, I mean, dude, 90%, literally 90% of my demographic is women. 90%, right? But every one of you who say that you've seen these videos, first of all, I don't think anybody here actually watches these videos, right? No. Shouldn't that be right? You see what I'm saying? Shouldn't that be a red flag right there? If I've got a 90% demographic, type of one if you watch family vloggers. Don't be ashamed. Type of 1. If you're a female and you've watched family vloggers, type of 1, because that's actually the exception to the rule. You're watching it for what it's appearing to be. But I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm not seeing anything yet. If you're a female and you watch family vloggers regularly on YouTube, type of 1.
And even like Josh said, like what they do online is completely like not real life. Like
No, it's
you're
not.
not gonna act that way if your kid just comes.
All right, so Irish's wife actually watches them. Okay. Okay, and Sandra Martinez says she used to. Right. See, I don't watch any reality TV. That's my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never found any reality TV interesting. Like, I never watched that. So, you know, I don't see how I'm ever going to be interested in family vloggers. Like, I just always assumed they were just that. They were just YouTube versions of, you know, the Kardashians or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's just not, it's not something that I find entertaining in the slightest bit. But, yeah. I mean, the stuff they talk about is gross.
Yeah,
but
to me, like I would never, even if my stepdaughters came online with me, I would never go to that point where I'm talking that kind of stuff online with them.
Right. I'm going to bring that girl up on here. I'll thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Hey,
What's
how
up?
you doing? I'm doing
good.
I have been having issues chatting in other people's live streams lately, and it turns out being your mod has made me a walking violation of terms of service.
Wow.
The links that I share in the chat and stuff have trigger words in them. So now well, you know, like the survivors links and stuff, they actually say sexual or child abuse in the link. So I'm a chronic terms of service violator. I can share them and I do, but it makes it where if I go to anybody else's live stream and try to comment, they have to approve every single one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that happened with, I think that happened with somebody else that I see in Robbie's chat all the time. And I'm just like, why the fuck do I have to approve every single comment? There's nothing wrong with what they're saying.
It's because they violate terms of service in other places. But it took me forever to figure it out. And then it finally just dawned on me it's the links I post, but I'm going to keep posting them. I don't care. I think they're important.
Yeah, I mean, right on. Right on.
So what you think about the Alexander homie? Is that not the most sick thing you have ever come across?
I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely disgusting, but it's fucking awesome that that's what I really wanted to focus on this stream was before I close out. I'm going to end it at 1 hour and 30, but I really wanted to really focus on how great it is that this attorney general is taking this that seriously.
I love it.
Like she's waging war on trafficking. And I'm hoping that it's going to start making a lot more news because that brings more awareness, that sheds more light on these predators.
Oh, indeed. Did you get to look into the laws at all? Did you have time yet, or did you not have time?
The laws? No, I have not.
They just changed a bunch of stuff, and I was really kind of shocked. One of the laws that helped them get this guy is relatively new. It was just passed over the last summer. And apparently, if I'm understanding correctly, they used to had to prove that the child was not complicit in the trafficking, which to me is absolutely insane.
That's
So now,
absurd. That's completely
yeah,
absurd.
absurd. So it's only as of this last summer that these minor children can get justice without a bunch of bullshit. They literally were having to prove that the children, before they could be prosecuted, were not complicit in the sex trafficking. And I don't know how anybody under the age of 18 or even 21 could be complicit.
Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be statutory rape when it's
Thank you.
consensual, when it's fucking consensual.
Thank you.
That's what, a child has to be complicit to prostituting herself?
They were basically saying
insane.
before that was a possibility. And my thing is how is that even fucking possible? So they're having to make these new laws, and thank God they're doing it. But the fact that it's only happening in 2019 and 2020 shows how much someone with the passion that you have and Mr. Nutt and Josh and everybody are really needed, because even though people are aware of the issue, I don't think they're aware of how hard it is to truly put an end to it, even due to some of our own laws. So I think that it's super great that you're going into all this, Will.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're gonna do. It's just gotta be talked about. It's just gotta be talked about. I'm gonna go into other stuff. I mean, obviously we're still waiting on whatever's going to happen with the Morphew case. We're still waiting on Letitia Stock to go on trial. We're still waiting on Heidi Broussard and what's ever going to happen to her.
Well, it looks like Miss Taylor's going to get her digs. You saw that. As far as Reagan's concerned, they're going after the death penalty.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. So that's good news, but she still has to be convicted. But I don't see how she's not gonna be. She confessed. Didn't she confess?
Well, that, and if you remember, they found her with the baby, in the car with the umbilical cord tucked into her pants.
Right, dude. Like
there's no getting around all that. But yeah, she did confess. She said, I mean, there was a little bit of a difference between the reality and what she said. She said that she had left the scalpel at the scene, and she left it all right in her throat. So I mean, there was a few inconsistencies, but she confessed, yes.
Right. And this thing that Annie's talking about lately, this Alexis Sharkey. I mean, listen, I don't know how much I'm going to go into that case because I think Annie's doing an exceptional job as it is.
Phenomenal.
If I start to get interested, then I might, talk about it a little bit on here. You know what I mean? If it starts to get, but I'm going to say so far from what I'm seeing,
Yeah. What do you think?
This has never happened before. It's never happened.
Go ahead. I think you're thinking what I'm thinking. Say it. I want to hear it.
I think the husband merits suspicion.
Bingo. Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he did it. We don't know.
No.
I'm saying he merits suspicion.
I'll say this is the one time I feel it's more likely than not. I mean, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened. I mean, I didn't think for 5 seconds Stephanie Hollingsworth would have tried to die on purpose, but we sure haven't got any updates on that, have we?
We don't have anything on that.
Yeah.
We don't have anything on that. I was fucking, dude, I was deep. My head was buried into that Stephanie Hollingsworth thing. And it turned out to be wait a minute, what?
I know. I don't like how they and I know it's not their responsibility to answer to anybody, but once you drag thousands and thousands of people into something, I feel like you should give them closure too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got rode hard and put up wet.
That's what happened. They dragged us into it. They held press conferences. They were like, we need to let everybody know what's going on here. We need this to go viral.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? I mean, am I crazy? Did that not happen?
No, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, then you're just gonna leave us hanging in the wind.
Ooh, I just realized how mean my avatar picture looks. Ha! Y'all will be messing around in chat while I can't watch. That's going to be my chat watch avatar. But I don't know. I just want to tell you that I'm glad you're going to keep going at it. And no, these lives are not going to be as rip-roaring popular as the ones where you're saying what everybody wants to say but doesn't have the balls to. But I feel like as things evolve and go, that you'll see that you're reaching the right kind of people, and that it'll grow in a better way that'll be less dramatic.
That's all I want, man.
I know, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to go real well for you. And I think you need to keep covering cases like you did today and just keep spreading the awareness, man, because even with everything I know being
we're not done. We're not done talking about Mr. Paul Alexander, man. I want to find
no.
out more about the guy. I want to find out more details. This is just all I'm doing today is just talking about the fact that we caught this asshole, and that we're seeing a real effort from New York. You know,
so what about that lady that was watching him? You know, the lady that you were talking about earlier, that was watching kind of like the neighborhood abuela.
She was right.
I'm curious. Do you think that she helped with the investigation? Because if not, I'm going to be real sad to think that she noticed all this and never told. You know what I mean?
The thing is, though, man, you know, you can't blame people for where they come from. And I was explaining earlier that you know, I don't like it, but it's understandable. This is such a sensitive issue. This is such a sensitive issue that people don't want to, like, you damn sure don't want to even believe that your neighbor's doing that.
Yeah, right? And I see where you wouldn't want to be wrong if you did.
And
say
you don't
something.
want to be wrong, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be wrong. So it's almost sick how they actually are able to hide behind that.
You know, you're right. That is just a total nother smokescreen that they get to hide behind, because people are afraid and they do wonder. And, you know, you don't want to be like, homie's a sex trafficker, and then you're totally wrong and you look like a nosy jackass. But I think in this case, it's better, you know, safe than sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather if somebody thought I was doing something horrible, A, I would like the chance to prove that I'm not. But B, I would rather them tell on me and everybody know everything's okay than just thinking that somebody's sex trafficking kids or something and not saying something, you know?
I mean, we've gone over it. We've gone over it on this channel before. Even familial trafficking is a problem in this country, in this society right now. It's way more of a problem than we thought it was. And that's just familial. That's not some predator coming along and talking to your kids at McDonald's and then, you know what I'm saying? And pimping them out.
My God, yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's somebody's mom doing it.
You know, they're using kids too. The more I'm reading, the more I'm finding that men like Mr. Ackerman, I'm not saying he did it personally because I don't know that much about him yet, but they will use younger, good-looking boys and girls that are kind of like socially really active on Instagram and luring them in. And that's how they get a lot of people too. So I really suggest any moms in chat, I don't care if your kids hate you, you need to be up in their social media business. They don't need to be meeting people on Instagram. Oh, we're just going to go hang out at the mall. That's how your child gets taken. Like, they literally use these good-looking little 14-year-old boys to lure them in.
And we have to make our kids aware of that. It's a problem, that it's a threat out there.
Yeah, and it's not just your mom's being paranoid.
Right, exactly. We can't, and then we can't just worry about, oh, well, my kid, it's too uncomfortable to talk about with my kid. No, it's a problem, and you have to protect your children from it. It's your job.
What's uncomfortable is
it's a legitimate threat.
is making funeral arrangements. That's what's uncomfortable.
It's a legitimate threat, and you as a parent have a responsibility to protect your child from any legitimate threats.
Indeed.
Period.
I agree. And it can be uncomfortable in that situation. It's more uncomfortable having to figure out either where your child's at or how to bury him once you find him. You know, I'd rather have the first uncomfort myself. And, you know, both our kids are grown, but it doesn't change that fear you still feel in your heart. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Is it the same for dads? Do y'all worry like moms do about stuff like that?
I mean, yes and no. It's weird. For me, it was just like I talked to my kids when they were real young, and explain to them, because I mean, you got to put your kids in the bathtub, you got to do things like that, and then they start to get to a certain age when you got to teach them to do it on their own. And when that happens, it's, hey, make sure you understand that your area, your body is for you and you only, nobody. That's, you have to let your kids know that they have to take pride in their body and know that nobody has control over their body but them.
See, and people thought that was weird about Sophie. Remember how she was saying, this is my body and I don't have to do things that, I can't word it perfectly, but remember Sophie had said something like that. And people are like, girls that age don't know better. Well, mine did. And it sounds like you taught yours better too. So for us, it wasn't that far-fetched, because we taught our kids that.
Yeah. My son, I had to have this talk with him when he was 4, because he just had a thing where he just wanted to whip it out everywhere. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world that he had one.
Yeah.
And he just started whipping it out at everybody. And there was a hurricane and the power was out. And that was his thing to do, is to run around with all the neighbors out barbecuing because they had no power.
Yeah.
He's out there and the kids are playing together, and then he's, and I'm like, hey, right. I'm like, what are you doing? And then you gotta like have the talk, like, hey man, that's not for nobody else to see but you.
Yeah. Yeah, kids that age are funny. My friend's son used to he would pee anywhere. Like, we'd be outside a grocery store and he'd just try to whip it out, and I'm like, no dude, you can't do that.
And by teaching them that kind of discretion with themselves, it causes them to also have that respect for others' discretion for themselves, that respect of boundary, that set the respect of boundaries for other people as well. Like, I don't want people looking at me, so I don't need to look at them. My kids very much had that. It's a boy and a girl. You know what I mean? And his sister, she's 6 years older than him, but she, of course, had that advantage where she'd be like, you can't do that, like, what I mean? So, but you teach your kids young, you just do. And it can't be taboo to do it.
No, and people need to make sure when they're teaching them, they're using correct anatomical terms. So if the child does come later on to some problems and they tell you what's going on, they're telling you anatomically in a way that exactly what is happening. And that it was bad. It's not, especially for a stranger, who they may be seeking help from, they're not going to know your code word for your child's, penis or vagina. Right. So it's very important we use the correct terminology. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Teaching your children to protect themselves and what their body parts are is absolutely nothing to be secretive or ashamed of. And so I hope more people will.
And the thing about that is, by teaching our kids to have this kind of awareness of themselves and have that type of respect and protection of them for themselves. Whatever you're doing, you're clicking something a lot.
Oh, I was putting the link. They're asking in chat. I'm sorry, I didn't know you could hear that. I'm done. Yeah. I'm done now.
Loud in my headphones.
I'm sorry.
By teaching your kids to have these and set these kind of boundaries for themselves, who better? Because now they know now you've already set a standard for them, for the adults that aren't around, when you're not around, the adults that are in charge of them, they have the standard set for them. They say, that's weird. This is what my mom or my dad, or both my mom and dad taught me. So, this is how it's supposed to be. And you are supposed to protect me and protect that about me. So
yes. And
they have a standard for themselves on how they're supposed to be protected when you already create this knowledge for them.
Well, and if you can set a good basis of communication with the child as well, so they know, even if it's something that should piss you off, if you can hold that anger in long enough to communicate with your child and then readdress it later once you've calmed down, they will know, even if a stranger tells them mommy and daddy will be mad or I'll do this, they'll still know, hey, well, mommy's never been mad or daddy's never been mad when I've said anything else. So I feel like we really got to set up that solid basis of communication that makes them feel safe no matter what. And that's hard to do. You know, it is. It's hard to do.
I mean, not really. If you're consistent from birth and how you and you pay attention to their
but once they get a little bit older, man,
you're not focused on trying to create them or trying to mold them a certain way. You go with the flow. You teach them manners and how to not be an asshole. That's all you do. You let them be them, but say, hey, wait a minute, be nice. This is what you say. You say please, say thank you, basic things,
well, yeah, but some people, when they hear their kids say something that worries them, if they're worried or anything outside of just kind of happy or whatever, if they get afraid at all, they get angry. It's a normal human response. So I just want to generally encourage.
You teach them to manage their anger.
I'm talking about the parent, though, Will. They've got to be careful with that knee-jerk response whenever a child's coming to them with basic things. So whenever it comes to the more hardcore things like what we're talking about, they won't be afraid.
I agree. I agree. That's the issue. Is we need to make sure that we have that narrative that our kids feel comfortable coming to us when they need help. They count on us to protect them, and they count on us to teach them how to protect themselves as best as they can. And the best way to do that is to have an open, honest line of communication out of habit.
Yes.
It's just that simple. I'm going to call it.
You go for it.
But I really appreciate you joining me here, that girl.
I appreciate what you're doing, Will. I want you to keep up the hard work. Seriously,
I appreciate all your help with it. I wouldn't be able to be doing it without you. So I appreciate it.
I got you.
All right.
Well, you close it up. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
All right, guys. I appreciate you. I love you guys very, very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.